Today I have Susie Bloom, otherwise known officially as Susie McAlister. Now, Susie and I kind of grew up together in our beautiful coastal town of Lompoc. She was a super bubbly person. I have fond memories of Susie, and I'm so glad that we got reconnected. I was on her podcast, Blooming Together. Now, Susie has a brand and a movement that is fantastic. And I want to just get right into it with Susie. I want to know the nitty-gritty. So welcome.
Well, first of all, thank you, Laura. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. And I love it. And I love the concept. And I'm so excited that you have started your own podcast. It's super exciting. And you're doing it so well. I'm so proud of you. And thank you for inviting me to talk about the things that I do and the things that I'm passionate about. And blooming is definitely what I'm passionate about. You know, I've been growing the idea and the dream and the business of Susie Bloom since at least 2010. But the seeds of Susie Bloom have been growing in me since birth. I mean, let's face it. And, you know, we are born to bloom and grow through life. And that's a message that I believe in and that I like to encourage. Susie Bloom has taken shape in various ways over the years. And I've just been discovering and rediscovering ways that I can maybe share with others these feelings that I have, these beliefs that we are born to bloom, that we are meant to grow through life. And in spite of all of the challenges, that's part of it. Challenges aren't going to go away. It's a part of our existence, and we grow through those things. And even though, there are days I just want to sit on a porch swing and listen to birds chirp and not think about anything challenging at all. But life, we don't grow in those moments. We grow through the challenging things, unfortunately.
And I love that people recognized your personality trait from the get-go, but I also wondered if it put a little pressure on you as well. Do you feel you had to live up to?
Actually, yes. And it's fun that you bring that up. There were definitely times when I would get tired of being sunny. And the people that really, I think my closest friends, or the people that you feel you can trust, they're the ones that's, oh, Susie, honey, no, you don't have to be on all the time. In fact, that's no. You can definitely let your guard down. It's wonderful when blooming together is kind of like that, though. I want there to be this safe space where people know that blooming where you're planted is not always sunny. We're not blooming in sunshine all the time and rainbows and all that. No, we have to cultivate that and that soil through hard times and challenges and still push up through it. And still, that's what blooming means to me, is through good times and bad. No matter where you happen to find yourself in the moment, you are just simply striving to make the best of that situation and where you're at personally and where others are at around you. And you're just cultivating something good, optimistic, hopeful, light seeking, and that everybody is doing that a little bit differently, and that we need to give each other grace in that blooming process, and that we're all going about it. But then when we love each other and we support each other, and extend that grace to each other, it can be the experience of growing through life can be so much more joyful, so much more intentional and purposeful and loving and creative when we help each other. And that's what blooming together, that's what I want blooming together to be about. That's the mission, is just encouraging each other to bloom where we're planted and grow through life, but not in that toxic positivity way, not in the, you always have to be on, you always have to. No, absolutely not. Are we trying to maintain optimism? Are we trying to keep that hope alive? Certainly. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think continuing to be hopeful is important, I guess.
I love how you're realistic with it all. I think that is so fantastic because you're not selling a bunch of elixirs, like
No,
snake oil about it. You're being very real and admitting and saying we need each other because you're going to have ups and downs and we need
absolutely.
on each other. You need to have someone say, it's okay. Today's a crying day. Tomorrow will be better. And the next
Yeah,
person will say, it's all right. I'll get the weeds for you.
I love
Yeah,
that.
well, this manure it stinks, but it's good for the soil. It'll smell better in a couple days. We need each other. I think that's beautiful.
Possibility versus positivity. I loved that because possibility is so hopeful. That's just such a hopeful word, such a hopeful place, and things can grow from there. And yet, if anyone looks at that situation, when I look at the past and horrific things that have happened, or even just the things that happen to others that I know or myself, sometimes you just think, there's no way through this. In its darkest moment, you might think, no, no, I just want to fall into a pit. No, we're done. But no, you don't have to. You certainly could, but you don't have to. There's this little flicker over here and it's possibility and it allows a little bit of hope and a little bit of light. And then that grows a little bit. And as it's nurtured, it keeps growing. And maybe you actually find your way out eventually.
What changes have you seen in yourself since you've started Susie Bloom, the brand, and this Blooming Together movement? What changes have you seen?
Belief that there's something that I can contribute to the world somehow that's good, that I have the power to be encouraging and motivating and loving, helping people to rise above the challenges that they're facing. I think just feeling like I have a purpose, that each of us has a purpose, and I'm still trying to figure it out every day a little bit more, but as I continue to put one foot in front of the other, on this journey. I get a little bit of inspiration here and a little bit of, this idea over here, and I nurture that and then I keep going. And I love feeling like I can contribute something, add value somehow, put something good out there in the world, make someone smile, make someone laugh, help someone see that there is possibility, help someone see there's hope. And in doing that, I do that for myself. Sometimes I just, if I'm having a hard time, it never fails. Someone will either send me a message or say something like when I just have wanted to pull the plug on everything, go, that's it. I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore. It never ever fails that on that very day or in the very moment, someone will send me a little message. Oh, I listened to podcast, blah, blah, blah. And it was great. And I was like, oh, dang it. Now I have to keep going.
No,
Right.
so we've talked about good intentions. So I wanted to talk to you more about doing our best to bloom with gratitude and intention. Tell me more about gratitude and intention. How do those work together?
I am discovering that gratitude really is everything, honestly. And actually, I absolutely loved your first podcast guest, Carrie Mitten. I love what she said about gratitude as abundance, or gratitude leading to an abundant life. And I never looked at it quite like how she described it. And I absolutely loved that because she was spot on. And if she listens to this ever, she'll be like, yeah, I was. No, but she's like, "Of course I was." No, but I really loved that because honestly, if you truly are, because I've really been trying to practice gratitude so much over the last, I would say 3 to 5 years, like actively, intentionally practicing gratitude. And I don't always, some days are better than others, some days are easier than others. I'm floating in gratitude some days, and other days I am really pulling out the, stops to go, okay, I don't even know if I wanna say I'm alive as a grateful thing right now. So I'll just say no, do you know what I mean? Like some days it's just yeah. So, but gratitude, honestly, I get what she was saying, that if you truly are grateful for the many, many, many things, that that are in your life, even if your life is not going great, there is still so much to be grateful for. And if you are actively really trying to look at life that way, and I don't think I've accomplished it to the degree that I can, not even close. But I really, when I am actively, really intentionally being grateful, my life does look like this abundant gift. And I go, wow. And it doesn't mean that I don't want things to be different sometimes, or I want that to be different. I'd love to improve that. You've still got all those little things floating in the periphery, but to be grateful with exactly where you're at, it takes a lot of guts, really. It takes a lot of intention, and it takes a lot of recognition and humility and just being grateful. But then you're fed so much when you are grateful, the peace that comes, the joy, the calm, the steadiness, those are just feelings that I've experienced when I truly sit in gratitude. I I experience such a tremendous amount of peace, and there can be chaos going on around me. So I feel like a very young student in this, though. I do. I don't know so many things, but I will say that I do know that gratitude brings peace. Gratitude brings growth. Gratitude brings understanding and ability and beauty. I mean, so much good can come from gratitude, and I want to cultivate it more. I want to get better at cultivating it more and helping others too, also, because I know that it's life changing and it's world changing if we can actually be grateful. And I'm trying to do it myself because it is not always easy. There's a lot also, if we wanna look for the bad, and there's plenty that there to not be grateful for, obviously, but
I've
there
ac-
is so much to be grateful for.
I've actually heard that we're wired to look for danger. That's how we survive. And so danger is the negativity things. So you actually do have to rewire your brain to look for what's good because that's what's not threatening.
100%. I've read that too. Yeah.
So you are practicing a completely new skill. It is going against nature to be grateful.
But it is one thing that I have learned is worth that effort. It's 100% worth the effort. It really, and it can change your day, your mood, your moment immediately. I'm taking things one day at a time, but I hope that if I cultivate gratitude on the level where I'm at right now, and I'm practicing it, and I'm living with intention, and I'm aligning myself with God and the faith that I have, that hopefully, if you know things really get bad, that I will be in a place to be able to hopefully handle those things the best that I can and keep blooming through those hard things, come what may.
I like that. You're already in a habit.
Right, if you develop that, if you're yeah, because honestly, I mean, if I can think of those worst case scenario things that could happen where loved ones are, where I don't even wanna go there, but when you think of those when you think of those things that could possibly break you in half and make you not wanna exist anymore.
When we think of blooming where you're planted and we have happy habits already in place where you're living with gratitude, it's a
Mhm.
daily practice. We're
Right.
kind of preparing ourselves
Yes.
if heavier things come because
Yes.
we practice those. We've got those ingrained trenches.
Absolutely.
We have a place
Good
to go.
practices in place.
And we're already developing skills. We also already have, hopefully, we're blooming together. We already have a tribe that we are working.
Yes. Yes. For
We have
sure.
already in that. And I wanted to ask you, who's your tribe? Who do you bloom together with? Who's always on your side? Your family. You post on social media with your family, if I can refer to them, because you do post about your family.
Yeah. No,
Tell
absolutely.
me about your family and how they're your tribe and all this.
Yeah. No, my family, I'm fortunate to have a supportive family. I am. And I'm very grateful for that. I have a very supportive husband who has always embraced my very Susie Bloominess, my very Susie Bloomness. And I appreciate that, about him. And my kids, they're great. They inspire me. I have wonderful siblings. I have parents that have been teaching me. But honestly, I have a great tribe of friends. I have a handful of close friends that I am so, so unbelievably grateful for, that I can turn to and talk to, be honest completely with. That old adage, I think I used to have it on a bookmark, a good friend is someone that sees, knows everything about you and still loves you, those kind of friends. I have a few of those that what a blessing. Truly, a good friend is one of the greatest, greatest blessings in life. So grateful for that. Grateful for my faith in the community of church and the community of work. I have some wonderful coworkers. I have plenty of people that I admire. And honestly, the people that I've interviewed on this podcast have become sort of that tribe of bloomers. And I am trying to create a tribe of bloomers where people can come and, on all the different levels that people are at, wherever they are, and we're all just blooming together. Honestly, I'm trying to create, this tribe of encouragement and love and but yeah, my tribe, I feel very fortunate to have wonderful, encouraging, loving people around me. You'd think I'd be more confident and secure than I am, to be honest. But for some reason, different things that happened growing up and other things along the way, that's something that learning as an adult. But one thing I have noticed is the more that I learn, the more confidence comes. I love that so much. That's something that I have noticed in my life, that, the more I learn, the more I want to learn, and learning and doing have made me happier and more confident. And I love myself more, and I feel more comfortable with who I am. And that tribe nurtures that and just keeps encouraging me. I think if we can I just want a world where everybody's just encouraging and loving and motivating each other. Can't we just do that? Can't we just, more than coexist? I know it's a tall order. Okay, I get it. But I do. I just really just want us. Can't we just do that? Can't we just It is blooming together. Let's just encourage and love and motivate each other every day. Woohoo! Oh, it is not though, apparently, because other is sometimes, an uncomfortable situation or an awkward situation, a human experience. We're having a human experience. Peace feels calm. When I feel peace, I have this sense of stability inside myself. And it feels like I can stand solidly where I'm at. And I have this picture of a tree, just standing strong in kind of a storm, but not a bad one, just solid, feeling solid within myself, feeling strong and capable. I feel at peace when I feel those kinds of feelings. Now I don't have to feel like things don't have to feel perfect or seem perfect. Perfect, I threw out the window a long time ago. Like that just doesn't even exist in in life. But I think the wonderful thing about being able to feel peace, if we do things in our lives that help us feel that feels like an assurance that even though things can be chaotic and things can feel like they're even in an upheaval, that I can stand in it and be okay, that things will work out. It just gives me this wonderful sense of hope and belief that if I keep moving forward with what I know and the tools that I have in place, the habits that I've cultivated, things like that. And even if I'm thrown for a loop, that there's something within me that I will be carried through that. That's a sense of peace for me. It's a stabilizing feeling. Peace, yeah. It for me, it's an assurance, and it feels nice. Helps me feel calm. And how I do that, there's a few things. I pray, try to stay connected to my Heavenly Father. I try to learn about Him and about Jesus Christ. And when I read in the scriptures about other people that have gone through really difficult things, it gives me strength. It gives me hope. And I think, you know what? And I love the scripture in the Bible that says that everything will turn out for the good eventually. And I really hold on to that. That gives me so much peace and comfort. I remember hearing someone say, everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. And I love that, and that kind of takes it down a notch. Like, and I'm not trying to be casual or funny about this idea, really, honestly, truly. So through prayer, through trying to cultivate my faith and meditation, sitting in silence, trying to calm my mind because sometimes most of the time it feels like a tornado in there and just so many thoughts going around and around and around. And so sometimes I listen to meditation, sort of isochronic tones, get the yoga mat out, and I do that every day usually. In the morning, I do these practices. So those things help, just centering my life. I know that there are many people out there and they have different beliefs in a different higher power and things like that. Awesome. Find it your way. For me, it's connecting to my Heavenly Father and trying to align what I'm trying to do with what He wants for me, and trying to figure that out and trying to make that happen, trying to bridge myself to them. That brings me the most peace. Core values. Core values for me are God, health, my family and friends, learning, work, and it kind of goes in that order. Like, because if I can take care of my spiritual life and nurture that bond between myself and my Heavenly Father and invite Him in, that opens up every possibility for me. Even if I don't know how to get there yet and I feel inadequate or, lack the confidence, have all the fear, all those things, if I align myself with Him and I pair up with Him, I can't lose, right? So that's what I tell myself anyway. No, and that's what I've felt. And it's still a hard road, but it's still works. And then doing those things that help me feel good physically, because when I don't feel good physically, I don't feel good in any aspect. And then just nurturing my relationships with my family and my kids and creating and learning and working, all of those things. Those are the core things that build my life because I've experienced that enough in my life. I've felt that when I'm optimistic and I nurture that and I practice gratitude, peace comes. Go to susiebloom.com. My podcast is there. My blog is there. My social media connections are there. Come visit me on YouTube. I'm expanding, hopefully. But yeah, come visit me on the podcast and tune in to guests that I have had on there before. They have a lot of wonderful insights and wisdom and experience that have blessed my life and helped me to keep growing and blooming. Yeah, come to susiebloom.com and connect with me. Yeah, susiebloom.com. That's the hub. Yeah, or the Blooming Together podcast. Definitely come tune into the Blooming Together podcast and let's bloom together.